It's our community, our demos and hackathon launch. So it's going to be really cool, really fun. I really hope you guys kind of learn a lot and you see some really cool things that the community has been just working on for the last few months. For those who are new, I see one or two sort of new names there. So my name's Nick Benson. I'm the community manager, and I'll be helping host this meetup for you guys tonight. But again, remember that this is a very casual space. It's your space, so please feel free to engage, ask questions, use the chat, just get involved because this is your space. We do record these sessions for those guys who can't attend, as well as to look back if we kind of forget, because my memory is pretty bad at times. So I like to go and back and take a look at stuff. This is, of course, our third meetup for this quarter, and our theme for this quarter has been around the low-code and low-code sort of builds and banking, and how do we make that available for everyone else. So our agenda for tonight, it's jam-packed, as I mentioned before. We got a very cool demo from James, who will be walking us through those the whole SpendCo app. If you guys aren't familiar with it, he'll give you a quick brief on what the guys have been doing it, but they've been building it with the community or kind of sharing their build as they went along with the community. So it's been a really cool sort of journey that we've seen. And then, of course, we'll play a bit with the Spreadsheet Banking, and James and Jamiro have something really cool for all of us to kind of engage with. And then we'll talk about the hackathon that's starting tonight, or as soon as you can. But I'll give some more details about that. There's lots of prizes, lots of swag up for offers tonight. So just keep an eye out and an ear open for the ways that you can get some swag. Cool. Any questions? Anything? Did I miss anything? Anyone want to add anything to the agenda? Everyone cool with it? Yeah, cool. Awesome. James, would you like to share your screen?
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Sure.
Evening, everybody. By way of introduction, my name is James Salford. I am the product owner for the Programmable Banking applications on the Platform 45 side, and I'm going to be taking you through the SpendCo application this evening. So a quick demo on what we've been doing on the app. So I'm going to just start off with the slide deck, and then I'll get into the demo, and then I'll just discuss some next steps, new features that we are looking to implement over the course of the next couple of months. Cool. So this has been done before by Reynard previously a couple of months ago. So I'm just going to quickly recap, what the tool is all about and how we action things. So the why. So why is the SpendCo application a thing? So companies need the ability to capture, categorize, and export transactions onto corporate cards, and paper-based expense claims is a pain to manage in companies. The how, so we are building it on Ruby on Rails, and we actually have a few use cases in progress at the moment, including internal Investec teams, a startup company, and various developers using their personal cards and the application. And then the who. So we predominantly geared towards your CFOs, your accountants, and your Investec card holders. So anybody with a big financial pull within a company, SME or larger corporation, this application can benefit an organization. What features do we have at the moment in the application? So we have immediate notifications on card purchases to the card holder. We've got a SAML SSO in progress. So we're currently just waiting on Investec for app registration there. We've got expensing with or without an invoice. We've got automatic transaction matching in the same currency at the moment. We've got expense category management, so just creating categories and then managing the expenses around those categories. We've got direct linking to accounting systems, which we've recently just enabled. And we do have spend limits, so programmable spend limits based on a card that would be given to a resource or employee. Okay, so ready for the demo. I'm going to just the demo, we all know about the demo guide. So I've got a 5-minute video, then I'm just going to talk through it. And basically, this is the application. I'm running kind of from A to Z within the application, and I'll just explain and discuss the various features that we've enabled. Cool. So this is the home page. Not much design. We do look to put a marketing page there. A user would essentially sign in and get an email and confirm their login. That current authentication process is done via AD. Then we see a insights page. So we trying to build this out over time, but basically this is going to be a bunch of reporting metrics in graphs and various other formats, so that you can kind of assess and evaluate your monthly spend, or spend per account, spend per card, spend per user, etc. So it's really geared towards organizations that may have an account or a budget associated with a card, and that card dedicated to, say, for instance, travel, whatever, and managing that budget accordingly on a dashboard type format. So we'll have a basic insights here. On expenses, we have 3 tabs there. You can see 3. There's open, on hold, and submitted. Open are any expenses that have occurred, transactions that have occurred on a card, and are pushed through without any information added to that expense, and I'll get into that a bit later. On hold is any information that is in zero, again, get into that a bit later, that is lacking information. And we will explain description or link to a contact or link to a category. And then submitted is everything. The expense has a description, it has a receipt tied to that expense, and it is then submitted in zero. So you have a list of transactions linked to your card. This is an example of a expense report, but we'll come back to that a bit later. We then go into the admin tab. So typically this is your financial CFO, financial director in the company. They would get the necessary permissions to set up the cards. They're dealing with the financials and budgets and distribution of that. So they will have the admin tab. Any other user at this point will not have the admin tab, e.g. your employees or whatnot. They will just have my expenses and insights. So basically just giving them any expense that is related to them. So these are the accounts. These are pushed through from the API, and all of these accounts are relating to the organization. So any account relating to the organization can be featured on the SpendCo application, and how we populate this information is by refreshing, and that will trigger a call to the API to update any card or account information in this case. So you can see the refresh happen there, and then you can select an account. It'll give you all of the necessary information around that account. You are then able to add a user. So this can be any user, from just a typical employee, or another admin user for like someone else in a financial team. You just add their basic information, and then you can select if they're an admin, and you can create that user. That user will then get a notification via email. So categories. Categories are basically what we associate budgets to. So if you want to have, say, office supplies, if you want to have travel, if you want to have, food and entertainment budgets, or whatever it may be within an organization, you create a category here. And again, this will typically be your CFO or financial director. Then create the category. You can see that it populates. You can update the category. Then going into cards. So cards works the same as accounts does. Any card associated with an account associated with your organization, you can refresh it. It'll repopulate and pull that from the API. So you can see refresh, another card populates, and you can go into that card and actually assign a user to that card. So for instance, if one of your employees or management staff have a responsibility, so say they manage the travel allowance for a quarter or whatever, you can assign a card to a user and then have that card associated with that user, and any expenses or transactions will be that will notify that user that pertains to that card. Okay, now going on to spend limits. So this is really the powerful feature, I think, with regards to this application. What we've done here is now we've programmatically we can specify a date range, so a custom date range on a specific card. So for example, if you have an employee that is traveling to Europe and they're going for 2 weeks, you can specify a valid from and valid to date with the specific card, and you can associate, and we can customize an amount of money associated to that card. So essentially that, and you can then obviously associate it with a category. So what we're doing here is we can then track employees management spend efficiently. They can never then breach an amount of what's assigned to them, so it makes it a lot more manageable. And what will happen is that if an employee, say for instance their budget is 5,000 Rand, their employee will, the transaction will decline if they try and go over that. And the same will apply, the transaction will decline if they try and spend money before their travel date, or if they try and spend money after that travel date. You might wonder why this list of categories is so long. These are categories that are associated with MCC codes, which are merchant codes, which is information that we get from the transaction. So we are currently trying to work out how best we can associate these categories, and these are coming from Investec, how we can best associate these categories and bundle them up into umbrella categories. So for instance, you can see there drug stores and pharmacies, drugs, there's various variables to a specific umbrella category, and we're looking to kind of bundle these up and associate them. But the difficult thing is that there's an MCC code associated with each transaction, so we're trying to work out how best to represent that essentially for the user. What we are thinking of now is templatizing this. So if a user specifies, for example, a travel, they can specify a travel template. We can save that template and they can reuse that so that they don't actually have to go through it again. So there you have your spend limit created. You've got a date range, an amount, and a category associated with that. An additional feature that we've just been finishing up is the Xero integration. So we've been implementing this via a webhook, and you'll see it's live synced as well. So a SpendCo user can link this their Xero organization account to the SpendCo application, which Tim is doing now. You can allow access, and it automatically pops the contacts that are sitting on your organization in Xero, so that we have that information now in the SpendCo application. You can then refresh and it'll pull, this is a predefined contact. You can refresh And then again, it pulls all of the contacts from zero once after the integration has happened and you've linked that account. You can see we've got one of the contacts is Ridgeway Bank there with the relevant information, and the source you can see is there depicted as 0. You can then make your way to 0 and you can see the information that is populated on 0. So Tim's going to search for Ridgeway Bank here on 0. Then populates. And if you ever want to change the name or any information around the contact information on the 0 side of things, it'll push through the update straight into SpendCo. So it's got that push-pull integration happening. So you can see Ridgeway Bank is now updated. Cool. Then when you go back to my expenses, so this is the expense report. We've got labels, which is your categories. So you can, this is what a typical user employee would get when they have a transaction linked to a card. We are pushing them to now upload a receipt so that we can effectively reconcile this, say, for instance, at the end of the month. And right now, I think in all of the organizations that we're involved in, it's quite a manual process. We specifically need to submit a Excel document with all our expenses. So this is just alleviating a lot of admin and a lot of stress. So one would edit the expense. You see they pull in the contacts from 0 immediately. You can assign a contact and you can provide a description. And this is really the CRUD feature of the SpendCo application, in that we've noticed that transactions, you can never really understand why someone enabled a transaction or spent money for something. And you see that we've got a broad umbrella category in office supplies here, but further specification doesn't come on a bank statement, for instance, or in transaction data. So that's where SpendCo comes in, and that's where SpendCo is powerful, is you providing a description, you're giving a bit more information to a transaction, and you have the ability to upload a receipt. So one would upload a receipt, update an expense, and then that information is captured. You can now then venture back to the 0 account. If you refresh your 0 organization, you can see that that transaction is now updated on the 0 side. So it makes for easy reconciliation. And again, you can edit this information and it pushes straight back through to the SpendCo application. And you can see that information then populate on SpendCo. If you refresh, office supply or quick spar include pens and paper updated. So we've got a really nice push and pull type relationship, which is it's proving to be quite nice. Still very much in the early stages of testing that. But basically that is the application. And then what are we trying to accomplish next? So as mentioned before, we are working on reporting dashboards. So we want to be able to filter by category, user, card, account, etc. So there's various metrics. I think once we take this to kind of a beta format, I think we'll garner a lot of valuable information here. We want to be able to export those reports via CSV or PDF, so easy reporting on a monthly basis. We want to obviously build out an onboarding flow. Right now, we're just adding users to organizations. As mentioned, we want to templatize the spend limits. So we want to be able to say, for instance, a CFO can create a travel template for a user and then they can just edit it if it differentiates between amounts and date ranges and things like that. We also need to do a pen test for the application before we go live to clients or into beta, just to kind of cross our I's and just cross our T's and dot our I's. And then we want to obviously just try and get a more attractive name here. Yeah, currently it's SpendCo. It's pretty self-explanatory, and we are looking at a new name. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you, James. If there's any
James.
questions that the guys might have, feel free to put into the chat or just ask if anyone has any questions they want to ask James.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyone have anything specific? David's clapping. Thank you, David.
I think it's amazing. What has the feedback been, James, with the beta users so far?
They're really good. The internal Neil and the team are using it in Investec. They're not really using it from a transaction point of view, but we have seen some activity. So yeah, been really good so far. Reynard, who demoed last time, is using it for all of his expenses in his company. It's a small SME company at startup type approach, but yeah, he's using it as an application for his expenses. So it's been really good so far. Yeah,
That's good. I'll just love it. I think it's amazing.
James,
Awesome.
I've got
Thanks,
a question.
Yes, Jan.
James, so
Yes.
regarding audits and proof of purchases and stuff like that, are you planning on adding in like a snap of slips and maybe using character recognition and stuff like that to do recons, or is that not in scope yet?
So what we believe is reconciliations will happen on zero. So that's why the ability to have a user create a description, link it to a category, so it's easily manageable for a financial person, and then upload a receipt to it. Everything else will be pushed to zero, and reconciliation will happen there. Cool.
And just a slip upload, I guess that's the. Can you auto categorize on OCR? You think?
At this point in time, it's manual. But yeah, it provides the user, because sometimes what's happening, one of the examples that we've used is the merchant MCC code that's coming back from the transaction data will not be specified from a transaction perspective. So for example, if you have a budget for office and supplies or office supplies, and you go to Pick n Pay to buy office supplies, that transaction is going to come as a Pick n Pay merchant MCC code. So this is just we actually want it to be manual so that user can actually do it themselves.
Cool.
So I hope that answers your question, man.
Cool, thanks.
Cool. If there's nothing else, guys, feel free to use the chat to get on Slack. James is on Slack also, so feel free to reach out to him there about anything you want to know more about the SpendCo app, and we'll definitely keep track of how you guys are doing, and anything that you guys need, please feel free to ask. We're happy to help. Cool. Thanks, guys. Then the next one, Dan, and you got something cool to show us and talk about.
Yes, hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dan. I'm on the Spreadsheet Banking team. And let me just share my screen because I have some slides here. Can everybody see this Miro board?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, hi, my mission today is to help you get excited about spreadsheets. So that might be easy for some and hard for others. But please do feel free to chime in and ask questions. So we're going to do a session called Art for Everyone. We think that everyone's an artist. They just need a helping hand. You may or may not believe that, and I hope to show you that that's true. So can we take a quick poll? Raise your hand if you have an imagination.
Cool.
Keep your hand up if you're not great at drawing or painting. Awesome. And keep your hand up if you think it would be epic to see your ideas come to life. So I don't know how long the reaction time takes on the emoji, but I'm assuming there's lots of hands up. So who wants to make art in 2 minutes? You don't need to know how. I'm looking for a volunteer. Nick, can you choose someone for us?
Sure. Two, I'm going to pick Devin. You good, Devin?
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm good.
So we're going to do something called Art for Everyone. What we have is a platform, an expert, and a customer. So the platform is DALL-E 2, which is this mind-blowing new AI art platform. It's in early access. Luckily, we know someone who actually has access, who is Jamiro. He's on the call with us. He's a freelance artist, so he's your expert. And we have our volunteer, who is
Devin Pearson.
Devin, the creative human, who is our customer. So I'm going to hand over to Jamiro, and he's going to take you through something in a sec. Oh, let me just explain quick. So what DALL-E does is it takes a prompt, a description of what you want in text, and it converts it into a picture. So essentially, it turns your imagination into reality.
Is this the new Investec logo?
So we made this one. It's a proposal if you like it. If you don't, there's like 10 other variations.
I wonder for the community. It's cool.
Yeah, so here's our board to play with. And let me hand over to Jamiro. So he's gonna take over here.
Do some cool Zoom magic and just swap cameras for a sec. Whoa, magic. Okay, cool. So Devin, you're gonna help me drive. And everyone's obviously welcome to jump into the chat with their ideas. So I'm going to ask you, Devin, to just also help me keep an eye on the chat to see what people come up with. But just to show you what's possible, some examples of the prompts we did are over here, and what they outputted are down below. So I really mean it when I say the sky's the limit. DALL-E is pretty phenomenal, but we're going to start with something easy. So what is your favorite animal? Like, let's brainstorm some ideas. So what would you say your favorite animal is?
A mantis shrimp.
I mean, I couldn't have thought of a better one myself. What would you not expect a mantis shrimp to be doing?
Riding a merry-go-round.
Okay. I think that is a pretty good, pretty solid start. Riding a merry-go-round. And I think because that's such a phenomenal prompt, I'm just going to tell DALL-E to do a painting of a mantis shrimp riding a merry-go-round. I think that's how you spell merry-go-round. Yeah, I think that's good. While DALL-E's DALL-E/Dan or DALL-E and Dan are helping me with that one. Let's see if we can come up with a second prompt. So subject doing an action is a pretty good format. What is the first object that comes to mind? Like if you were just to think of a noun, kind of like, have you done like ad libs or mad libs? It's that kind of thing. Like what's like the first object that comes to mind?
An R2D2.
Oh, amazing. This is going to be so good. Okay, R2D2. So what if we give him a profession? Maybe the action should be like having a profession. Like what kind of R2D2 would you like to see? Like if he applied for a job and he was trying to break out of his Star Wars niche, what would he be doing?
A barista. Would that work?
Yep, I am literally going to go with R2D2 as a barista. Should we do portrait? I feel like that's a good portrait. Portrait of R2D2 as a barista. Am I spelling it right? Yeah, see, I'm an artist, not a spelling person sometimes, so bear with me. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Do we have, let me check with my my assistant. Do we have the first?
We do have the first one ready, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna have a look at what DALL-E's generate. Whoa! Oh my God.
That's awesome.
These are so cool. Check the colors, hey? It's interesting because mantis shrimp those ones with the really colorful what leggy things.
Yeah.
It looks like it sort of pulled the color from the mantis shrimp's forearms and sort of splattered that across the canvas.
What do they think?
I mean, yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, put it in the comments or like, yeah, people are liking it.
Very cool.
It can do everything, Malan. It can literally do everything. I think we're going to be doing some more at the end. So if you want to stick around and play with a few more prompts,
We have time for one, an extra one.
okay, we can do an extra one. So awesome. Malan, since you went with sci-fi, should we see like what do we want to do in sci-fi? I don't know if Malan, if you have an idea for sci-fi or someone else wants to.
I was very interested in changing the ads. Like I don't quite know how it works, but like let's say or cyberpunk, maybe something
That's a
like
brilliant
that, like on the
one.
mantis shrimp.
Oh, do you want to do a variation?
Can work. Like so. Yeah, I'm very interested to just see how far it can stretch mantis shrimp.
Cool. Okay, well let's do mantis shrimp.
Is that a thing, Jamir?
Oh, that is definitely a thing. So mantis shrimp and cyberpunk, awesome. So here's R2D2 as a barista. I don't know, guys. I think he's nailing it.
It's easy now. Huh? It's like you just add a cup and then it's
Yeah. All you need to be a barista is have a cup. Although this one in the middle bottom, he's kind of, it looks like he's in front of a coffee, I mean, a giant coffee machine, but I guess R2D2 is hip height anyway. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It is trippy if you remember, like these are not like Google images, like it's generated on the fly, like that as well.
It's pixel by pixel, and it places them based on its knowledge of the words we've added. So none of these images exist. And it's created 6 in about as much time as it's taken us to generate the idea, which is kind of cool. So this is what we've got for cyberpunk mantis shrimp on a merry-go-round, it looks. Pretty wild.
That is cool.
It's got the neon colors coming in,
That's cool.
neon lights. Yeah, now that I'm doing this, I feel like I'm actively putting myself out of work, but in any case, it's really cool. Yeah, and I guess the whole message here is how quickly and how easily it is to create, dare I say, really like pretty convincing pictures and photos. I mean, if I showed that to you, I think it could be a studio shot of R2D2 with a cup. But yeah, thanks everyone for the participation. I'm going to hand over to Dan again. He'll sort of connect the dots and explain why we've done this. Thanks.
Thanks, Jamir.
Thank you, Jamir.
Awesome.
Well done,
Yeah.
well done.
Thanks for the expert help. One thing that I noticed is Jamiro is way better at coming up with prompts than I am. So he's got that eye for art. I'm just saying, you're not putting yourself out of work because you're definitely useful there. So how did it feel unlocking your imagination? I mean, I guess you said you couldn't draw, and yet you drew something. How did it feel?
That was really cool. I sorry, from my side, I mean, those were, especially the cyberpunk ones were really cool. I thought it was awesome.
Cool. So you might be
I don't know if
thinking,
I'm happy or scared about the power of that.
yeah, it's bringing up some very interesting questions. AI in all the fields at the moment. Any other thoughts? Cool. So you might be thinking,
The
like,
Whoopi Goldberg one is pretty trippy. the example you had at the start. Like Dan showed it to me earlier as well. Like that's very specific. Like that's weird knowledge. Like that feels like a human thing.
Yeah, with a giant sword in the start of Adventure Time.
Yeah, definitely some Rick and Morty theme zombie stuff there. So yeah, very cool.
We spent most of last night with my mom, who's visiting, just making paintings, and she's an artist, and it's blowing her mind as well. So cool. Like, this is awesome, but like, what's it got to do with anything? Why am I showing you besides the fact that it's just fun? So like, we're all on a mission together to bring programmable banking to the whole of South Africa. And what we think the next step in the mission is embedding financial services right where people work. So into things like spreadsheets and into their ecosystems. The hypothesis is that this is going to level up a lot of businesses and really grow the economy in South Africa. So if you think about art for everyone, we're talking about programmable banking for everyone. And we think that everyone can program things, but they need a helping hand. So let's do this poll again. Put your hand up if you want to control your finances, if you want to be able to control your finances. Cool, I'm assuming that's most people because that's why we're here. And then keep your hand up if you've never written code or used macros. So those of you that put your hands down, you're the technical experts. You're the guys that understand, the guys and girls, that understand how to enable people. You've got that like secret sauce. And if you kept your hand up, I'm assuming you're going to keep your hand up as well, that like having flexible control over your money would be epic. So we've got two groups of people here. We've got technical experts and we've got awesome customers. And we're hoping that this mission can connect the people that know how to enable people on top of the Investec APIs with the people that can be empowered. So that's the programmable banking for everyone mission. Yeah, like devs can use their mad skills to unlock programmable banking for everyone. So same model, we've got a platform and an expert and a customer, and this is where Spreadsheet Banking comes in. We're building the Spreadsheet Banking platform so that the coders in the community and the people with domain knowledge, the technical experts can help low-code and no-code makers and businesses, your customers, to empower themselves and to have control over their finances. And also we want to make it so you can make money doing it. Any questions or thoughts at this point? Cool.
Good framing.
So I'm going to tell you what does Spreadsheet Banking actually do. So we turn Investec APIs, which are code, into low-code spreadsheet controls. And what we've learned is you can build a lot of value on top of this, even if you're a developer. So if you check on the top here, we've got an Excel spreadsheet and some safe IO magic and the Investec Banking APIs. And we're sort of that middle translation layer. So we've got some very secure systems, VPNs, private runtimes, all of those things. A lot of effort and time has gone into securely connecting these two systems together. And so what we're working on at the moment is live transaction sync, controlling your cards from a spreadsheet and making payments. So essentially the most common API is being exposed as spreadsheet controls. On the left, we've got sort of live sync transactions, which are get calls on the Investec side. In the card control sheet, we've got transaction limits and the ability to switch your cards on and off, which gets deployed to root code. And then we've got a payments sheet, which posts back to Investec and makes transfers. So the idea is to just make these more accessible. So live sync transactions is online. It's working right now, and we're busy working on card control. So if you want to check it out, you can sign up here at spreadsheetbanking.dev. You sign in with a Microsoft account because we're inside the Microsoft ecosystem. The accounts are free. And you can do everything you need with the free license. Connect up your Investec accounts with OAuth. And then you get into your app, you can create your spreadsheet. We do have an Epic UI coming soon. Sorry, what was that? Someone asking a question. I can't hear very well.
No, I think his mic is just on at the moment.
Background noise. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then you can click through here to your Spreadsheet Banking Excel file, which is created in a safe SharePoint that we have set up. And so step 4 is to add things. So if you look here, we discovered that there's an add-in called Script Labs, which is really cool. It lets you just put JS straight into your spreadsheet to control it. But there are many other ways to sort of write custom macros or make API calls. So the developer experience is pretty good inside Excel. Yeah, I think I was going to say something else. Cool. Oh yeah, so basically, even if you're coding and writing code, you can interact with those spreadsheets themselves. They're table objects that you can work with. If you're familiar with object-oriented coding, you'll be familiar with these. They're essentially DBs you can read and write to. So we've given you sort of a safe API that's authenticated against the Investec APIs that you can put JS snippets and add-ins on top of. Sure, there are lots of other ways to do this. I'm very keen to explore what everybody comes up with. So what's on our roadmap? At the moment, as I said, we're on card control and an awesome UI. And then up next, payment APIs and looking at ways to connect more things into this system. But yeah, very much want to keep the conversation going around what features you'd like to see here. So tying this into the hackathon, the mission is to unlock programmable banking for a low-code user. So what we've got right now on the left is live sync transactions and GPT-3's AI system connected to a spreadsheet. And there are many, many epic things we can build on top of this. These are just a few ideas. But I hope over the next month we can explore some cool problems to solve and some cool use cases. One that we are already working on with a few people in the community is a Telegram bot. So you can essentially just create your own prompts and ask the bot the kinds of questions you want, set up how it reads from the spreadsheet and writes to the spreadsheet to answer. And what's kind of cool is Michael's given his Lord of the Rings personality. So if you ask it how much entertainment budget you have, it'll say you're running a little low, my liege, and you can just customize that personality inside the sheet, which I think is quite cool. Yeah, so Spreadsheet Banking team, this is all of us, and we are here to help for the next month as you build things out for the hackathon. I won't go through everyone's names, but we've got platform support for any questions about the actual system, build support to help you come up with ideas and build things and think things through and all that, and any product feedback to these two folks, and then some generally awesome humans that are also on the team. Yeah, cool. So ask us things, any questions?
I think the guys are just really keen to try it. Of course, David, yeah, Google Sheets.
Google Sheets, good question. Yeah, so I guess there's a few parts to that. So why did we start with Excel? The reason is that we think that most businesses are in Excel. And if you want to be able to deliver something that is a profitable service, then going into Excel is a great first port of call. But what's kind of cool is that Excel and Google Sheets are essentially, they have the same APIs, they have the same like macros and everything. So whatever you work is portable between the two. If you prefer Google Sheets, we're not going to force you to use Excel.
The sad thing I have learned is if you're like me and hate Excel and like Google Sheets, in terms of business reach, like or talk to any accountant and they'll basically tell you, it's what I said, but like Excel just seems to be the thing if you want to help businesses solve their problems. So it just in terms of raw power, it's pretty good. And for those who used it more than a year ago, it's actually way better now. It does all the things Google Sheets does. Live sync, people can collab, edit, comment, just heads up. It's actually way better.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Cool. Any
Cool.
other questions? Wayne's loving it. That's cool. I'm glad that Wayne's loving it. Cool. If there's any sort of more question, guys, please feel free to use chat on Slack. Dan's giving you some cool support of people that you can get in contact. And of course, Dan is really eager to kind of engage with you guys more about this. So please feel free to reach out to him directly or in the Slack channels. And then if you are participating in the hackathon, which we're going to talk about now, you'll definitely spend a lot more time with Dan, just building this out a bit more. Cool. Let me just share my screen here quick. Cool. Cool. So community updates. Guys, before we jump into the community updates, I'm just going to put a quick link in the chat for event feedback. If you guys can give us some feedback on what you thought of tonight, of the event and everything else, we'd really appreciate that so that we can make it better for everyone again and again. And of course, I'll do a super random draw, you know how it goes, to get some swag. So please let us know. So while you guys are taking a look at that, I'll give you some more details about the low-code or no-code or hackathon that we've been all talking about for the last few weeks and months, essentially. It feels like ages and ages I've been chatting about this. And I'm really keen to finally just launch it and get it out there. So we're doing it a bit differently than your normal sort of whole hackathon. It is a low-code. It's talking about those spreadsheet banking. We've been talking about that now. And the cool part about this whole hackathon, with the normal sort of whole hackathon, you have to jump through hoops, and it's the top 5, and it's this whole thing, and you know, and people who really put in the hours don't really get the rewards. So we want to change that up a little bit, and we want to help build a product with you and give everyone the support that they need. So we have 2 end users who will be essentially our judges. If they can, they are your normal end users that we spoke about now. If they can use your product in a whole easy and a cool way, they have a bag of money where they say, well, this solution is worth X to me. And then that's your money that you get. So everyone who participates, who submits a solution, gets money, essentially, of how much value it's going to provide for the end user. So that's where the real critical part is. How well do you know your end user is really going to come into the whole equation, and we'll chat a bit more about that and how to do that in the next slide. And then we also have a community vote. So it's the judges who who will give you some money for your submissions, but it's also the community itself will vote on a really cool submission, and that gets also some cash around there. We're starting off today, you know, as soon as you can. We'll give you all the details in Slack groups. We will send out emails, so don't worry about trying to miss a link. I'll spam the hell out of you around that one. Then we also have a bit of a change up around how you actually can win. So you can decide when you get your money, or how much the end user thinks that your solution is worth to them. You can decide to either take the full amount, to say, hey, I'm going to work on this a bit more. I really think there's something here, and you just spend a bit of time just working on it a bit more with us. You can take the full amount. But if you say, hey, because we're good, I just bought it on a whole weekend, I don't want to board on this anymore, you can take half, and it's purely out of good faith. There's nothing, so you got plenty of ways to do it. So it's a bit different. It's a bit more fun. So we hope you guys kind of enjoy the whole journey along. Just to give you some brief key dates. So again, as I mentioned, it's the kickoff. Submission deadline is on the 22nd of July. So there's 3 weeks between now and the submission ends. And we have a whole lot of stuff in between there if you want to participate in the whole hackathon, which is really cool. You saw how easy it is to build, or something, and to connect up our API. So there's a lot of time for you to spend a weekend, a Sunday morning, just playing around with it. Then between the 25th and the 27th of July, our zebras, essentially, that we're calling them, our zebras and the community will have a whole opportunity to vote on your really cool submissions and to really look at them. The submissions will be anonymized for the community, so you don't have to worry about, so no one's going to know who's who in the zoo. It's just purely based on how good of a solution have you come up with, really, and how practical and how easy is it to actually use. On the 28th of July, we'll have a final meetup. We will then do the demos, do the winnings, and it's a good whole opportunity for everyone to kind of give each other sort of some feedback, some support, and we can talk about next steps from there. We'll drop some links into the chat now for everything, so don't worry about just catching up here. So simple 4 steps. Dan has convinced me to reduce it from 42 steps to 4 steps. So I'll reduce it to 4 steps. It's very simple. You register your participation in the hackathon and just literally to say, hey, I will be participating, so that we can just make sure that we communicate with you directly and we're helping and supporting you directly during this whole hackathon. And then join our Slack group. So we have a Slack channel that you can join, where we'll keep post on on how we're doing in the hackathons. It's a great place for you to kind of engage with other people and to ask any sort of the questions around the hackathon. And then even if you're not participating in the hackathon, please feel free to join and just see what the guys are building, and it's really cool and fun. Then our next step is to book a whole kickoff chat. So that's where Dan and myself then come in. We have a kickoff chat of what you're thinking about. If you have a problem to solve, awesome, great. If you and if you don't, we are more than happy to help you find some cool problems to solve that that are really fun. And then also our step 4 is then we'll have a weekly whole office hours. So every Tuesday between 3 and 4, we'll have a Zoom call open. Anyone can jump in. If you want to talk about your problems, you want to talk about your board, you just want to just goof around a bit, this is the place for you to come. It's actually going to be quite cool. So what we're going to do is that the first person to register and book a kickoff call, we'll post the links now in the whole channel, is register and book a kickoff call. That person will also win some swag. We'll get some swag. So there's another whole opportunity. So we've got 2 opportunities to get some swag today. It's our feedback form for the event, and register for the hackathon and book a kickoff call. Simple, very, very straightforward. Cool. So just some important details to note. So we also, on top of, if you're participating in the whole hackathon, you saw at the whole ideation session the last time we had one, around the cool things that you can do with whole GPT-3. And if you haven't, please go and take a look at it. It was really fun. We played with GPT-3 and connecting up to a spreadsheet, and it was really cool, and the cool things that we did around there. But if you join the whole hackathon, we will give you 1,000 Rand. It's 1,000 Rand of GPT-3 credit to play around with and connect up with your spreadsheet. If you want to play around, if you just want to play around with some GPT-3 technology, or you want to play and to add it to your hackathon submission, it's perfectly fine. I'm not going to judge you of how you use it. I simply ask that you register for the hackathon and kind of let us know that you want to get that credit, and we'll give you the details of how to get it. But it's completely free, $1,000. I'm not going to ask. And then
do you mind if I just chime in here for a sec
please.
About why I think GPT-3 is really exciting in the low-code environment? I think that there's a lot of synergy there because low code is for people that don't know how to program but still want to make things, and I think that applies to language models as well. So you can describe things in English and get it to do computation, and it's also really fun just for devs to play with. So sort of what I'm imagining you can do is come up with some interesting prompts or presets that and don't just like solve a static problem, but give people a lot of flexibility in describing what they want out of the system. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's why I think it works well.
Awesome, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope that helps with guys. And then another important point is that this is open to people or teams who have their access to Investec accounts, and with Programmable Banking, they're activated, because that's what the Spreadsheet Banking app is connecting to. If you don't, please let me know. We have a community account. I can give you some access. I'll find ways to give you access and kind of help you out there, but just let me know if you would like still to participate, as well as if you don't have. But you do need an Investec account with Programmable Banking or activated, just as a heads.
But we'll give you one.
Yeah, we will give you. Yeah, I'll make a plan. Oh, you know, because I got friends in Investec. I will make a plan. Cool. Cool. Any questions about the hackathon, guys? Anything you guys excited about it? Can I get a let's borrow a thing of Dan in a raise of hands? Who's excited about Deco? Yeah, Rita's, Milan, awesome. Dan's excited, awesome. Lots. Matthew, awesome, guys. Jim, yeah, awesome. This is really cool. This is going to be fun. I'm really keen to see what you guys are boarding. I've got plenty of money, swag, and a whole lot of fun, just with really cool people for you if you want to participate and have a bit of fun with people, and play around with some new and different tech. So our next meetup, as we mentioned before, is on the 28th of July. That's where we'll do the winnings, the hackathons, all of that very cool stuff. So just look out for the meetups, the whole emails about that one, which is going to be really cool. And I think I'm on time, just a minute over time, but I'm nearly there. If you want to stick around, we can play around some more with AI, but the formal edition of the meetup is done, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. I know it's been a bit of a rough day with all the load shedding and everything, but again, if you want to continue the discussions, if you want to talk to anyone or share anything that you learned today, please feel free to jump onto the Slack channel or phone call, pigeons, whatever. Just let us know. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
Thanks, Dan and Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
Sure. Thank you, Cham. Appreciate it. Cool. What's this AI stuff? Ooh. What are we going to make? How's this putting? I still can't get over the style. The style of it's just really cool.
Yeah, it's so good. Do you want to try a few different styles for that, Nick? Just like see what else. It's quite a cool prompt. The mantis shrimp and the merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, please feel free to. That's a great one.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna keep sharing. So what's a frog shaped like an F twin hair 22 plane? In what? In cartoons.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just making crap up.
Yeah. That's exactly what this is for. We got to burn some credit. So,
yeah, we get 50 credits every day. So you know.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Tommy, Jacques, Cham, Leander, do you guys have any ideas for something you want to see, even if it's just part of the thing?
Yeah.
Maybe like favorite animal, favorite movie style, favorite actor, something like that.
Yeah, from Chamo. That zebra. I want that zebra galloping.
A zebra galloping, awesome.
Yes.
What's your favorite art style? Or like a movie or a cartoon you like?
Yeah, I like sci-fi.
I still don't know art styles, I realize.
Yeah, it's a hard prompt.
Sci-fi is good.
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
I think something has to be wearing a Miami top. Like, you know, a shirt like old Dan's wearing. What is it?
A tropical shirt, like maybe. Yeah.
I'm curious if it knows what a Miami shirt is. We should see what that does. It sounds kind of interesting. Okay, what's wearing the shirt?
A zebra who's working at a banking counter. like the official Investec zebra.
Zebra
In the style of Art Deco.
Oh,
Art
that's a cool
Deco.
one. Art Deco.
For the zebra, or for the shirt or the galloping?
Yes.
See them both.
Here we go.
Zebra at a bank, working as a bank teller. Wearing a Miami shirt, Art Deco style. Oh yeah, check the frog plane.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Maybe if you say F-22 fighter jet.
Or F-22 Raptor, maybe.
That 22.
Got one coming on. Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
No, I like your fighter jet probably better.
You wrote the word 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also it's technically a F-22. That probably makes quite a difference.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, bad problem. I do have to just quickly help with dinner before load shedding kicks in 25 minutes. But I'll stay on the mirror board. I'm very excited. Thanks. That was super fun.
Cool. Thank you, Milan.
Bye.
Cheers. How's that zebra?
Cham, here's your zebra galloping. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Boards or back? Yes, this Investec is not gonna like us.
I love the zooming effect. It's so cool.
Who came up with the Art Deco style?
Blade Runner unicorn. I think Shan said Art Deco.
God, it's so cool.
We've got another one coming in. Bank.
Oh man, that's cool.
Is that the Art Deco one?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Sitting next to an ATM.
Oh, that's his classic. Yeah. Well, was that wedding? Your wedding for a payday? Yeah.
The top left one is like a weird centaur.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there.
A dog mowing the lawn in a sun hat. That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's a good one, Tom.
What would a good style for that be?
I'm just running that and seeing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Photorealistic. Okay, I mean, we're working on yours.
Dan, I'd love to see something in the style of Hieronymus Bosch.
Of what?
In the style of Hieronymus Bosch.
Can you spell that for me? Because I have no idea how to spell that.
Hieronymus. I don't know.
I'm just gonna Google that.
Surname Bosch. Sorry, I'm Jacques' girlfriend, and I'm the artist of the family, and also the data scientist who does AI for a living. So I'm
Awesome.
having fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
What do you want to see in the style of Hieronymus Bosch?
I'd love to see this dog in a sun hat in the style of Hieronymus Bosch.
Have you seen it, Dan?
That's too good. He's got a little wheelbarrow in the background.
What kind of art would Hieronymus Bosch do? Like paintings or portraits or? Let's try that. I don't know.
He does these weird ass like Where's Waldo style medieval kind of paintings.
Interesting.
That's just mind bending.
There's a Renaissance artist that was super crazy in Dutch, and everyone else was doing here's a pretty picture of a human, and he was just like, I'm gonna invent the craziest stuff that looks like I'm tripping on acid.
Tommy, what do you think of your dog? Wait, get a reply in a sec. The top right one looks not so happy. He's like, he needs business. Yeah, bottom right. Nice. Photorealistic ones are freaky.
Yeah, for sure, Milan.
This is, yeah.
like this human doesn't exist.com or something as well.
Oh yeah, that AI mesh thing. Yeah.
Ooh, have got the Hieronymus Bosch.
Doesn't sound like what I was imagining, so that'll be interesting to see.
Should be all the way right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so check the one on the left, Nick.
Oh, dude, this is awesome.
Perfect. That is brilliant. I love it.
Oh, that's
Nice.
What is that a metal detector? What the? What's it a metal detector?
Could be.
It's the laziest
Right.
metal detector person I've ever seen. Like, okay, dog, go. You know?
Oh, these are so cool.
Oh, these are awesome.
What's going on the top left? Is it trying to catch something, or like what's underneath that?
Hey, did it catch something?
It's like a little rabbit stuck in there.
It's perfect.
That's
This is
awesome.
art.
Scary bit.
This
Yeah.
is. I got to take a picture of this one. Oh, God, that's funny.
Should we do one more?
Sure.
Has anyone not given an idea yet? Cheers, Milan.
Cheers, man. Yeah. Jacques. Hey, Jacques. He's still there. Think he's. Anyway.
Jacques, let's try something like, see if you can break it.
Break it.
Well, I know
Yeah.
you've got like a very vivid imagination. So what's the, like, let's make something like very interesting or insane.
You're putting me on the spot.
Just like think of random words and just put it in a sentence.
You know, like a dragon.
Just
servant
looking at me
feeds the
now.
two entire,
DALL-E drawing itself in the style of the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, what does DALL-E look like?
Yeah, what does DALL-E look like? I want to know.
Good question. Another question is, does DALL-E know it's called DALL-E?
Ooh.
Oh no.
We'll find out in 40 seconds.
I'm just loving. Have you seen that meme where where it's got the used car guy and he's slapping the roof of the car and they normally do like little memes on it? This zebra kind of looks like, hey, this is
Okay, let's make that one.
So Dan, if you ever wonder how Jacques is so weird, it's because it's like partially my fault. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. It makes work even more interesting.
Oh, I don't know if I'll
That's a bit creepy.
Very creepy.
Maybe just pick some that are okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the tiny thing itself one is we don't know if we can share it because it's so weird.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, let me stop recording. Let me stop.
Yeah, if you start recording, maybe we will.